Today on the DML News Podcast, Sunday is Easter, tomorrow is Good Friday, and Leticia James is a loser. Plus, Maryland taxpayers are wasting their money on their senator's useless trip to El Salvador, and we have some video footage from a TeamDML member who goes into the Lion's Den, aka a Bernie Sanders and AOC political rally. We have this and more, and it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hey everybody, it's Denny here on the microphone today, going solo, sorta, because I have Ryan on the production table with a microphone and camera on him. You'll be joining us in a little bit. DML is out today, and today is actually going to be our last show, considering tomorrow is Good Friday. And I know we want to really just spend, at least half of tomorrow, because a good half portion tomorrow will be addressing CBD orders. But we do want to take this weekend to just kind of appreciate the holiday and just spend time with the family. So this will be the last show for the week. And then come Monday, we should be returning to a live studio format. With that said, and like I mentioned, the DML CBD BOGO special is still going on. Inventory is continuing to run low, but we are definitely urging you guys to jump on it before it does completely end, which DML will make the call on that pretty soon, especially since we are moving our studio locations quite soon as well. So remember, go to dmlcbd.com/BOGO, place your orders, and just as a reminder, if you have any trouble or you're curious about where the status is of your order, you can always email Ashley. She is our DML CBD guru at ashley@dmlcbd.com. All right. Please email her if you have any questions. Also, with that said, 47report.com is where you would go to sign up for the 47 Report newsletter. So if you go there, you put your name in and you put your email in, you sign up and you get our morning daily newsletter that is everything Trump related, as well as those that are against Trump. And when you do the referral program, and you share it to two people, you get this awesome drink coaster, which we're sending out a few of those today too. We send them out at the end of the week. The DML newsletter, which you can sign up at with dmlnewsletter.com, is also a great way to be a part of DML's personal newsletter, where he writes about an ongoing topic or an ongoing issue in the country, and he typically sends that out around the evening time daily as well. Now, a big one that we started this week finally, and it's been really good in terms of reception, is the DML Health newsletter. That is where DML basically tackles a prominent health issue or something that's related to the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again movement. And we've gotten a lot of feedback on it, and people really seem to enjoy it. So definitely go to dmlhealth.com and sign up for that newsletter. We got 3 ongoing newsletters. We're covering all bases, all facets. It's a great way to always stay informed and to know what is going on. Now, to begin the show, I want to start off in a positive aspect here. And like I've mentioned, with Easter and Good Friday coming up here and us wanting to just appreciate all that we are thankful for as Christians, and even more so for us specifically as Catholics. Yesterday, Trump actually held a pre-Easter service of sorts. And they're going to have plenty of events this weekend in celebration of it. I'm sure they'll have the kids out on the lawn, doing the egg, the egg hunt that they do. But here's Trump. Ryan combined 2 different clips from his event yesterday, basically just showing his appreciation to our Lord and Savior Jesus, as well as just the reminder that this country was founded in a very commonly appreciated expression. In God we trust, and that will never change. And you can hear it from Trump's lips specifically. Ryan, let's play that clip.
Nearly 2,000 years ago, during the sacred week, the living Son of God entered Jerusalem in triumph. Soon after, the Savior of mankind, who brought truth and light into the world, was betrayed, arrested, and tried, beaten, and nailed to a cross and crucified. For our sake, he gave up his life, and as the very great Reverend Billy Graham once said, God proved his love on the cross when Christ hung and bled and died. It was God saying to the world, I love you. Those are beautiful words from a great man, Franklin, right? a great man, Franklin's incredible father. And as we gather with family and friends, we'll not forget the true source of our joy and our strength. America has put our trust in God. It will always be in God we trust. We will never change that. You know, there's a movement to change it. It will not happen. We won't let that happen. Can you imagine a movement to change that? Robert, you're not happy about that when you hear that. Look at him. He's getting angrier and angrier. We can get angry too, can't we, huh? No, it's never going to change. And with God's help, we can overcome every challenge, triumph over every evil, and restore the spirit of faith in the United States for generations to come. We have a very simple slogan, make America great again, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, so I think this will be a great weekend for not only just reflection, but just as a reminder, as I said yesterday too, when we played that Joe Biden clip, how incredibly grateful we are that we have a healthy, competent president. And even if we don't agree with everything he does, I am happy that we have him for 4 years and not Joe Biden or, word salad Kamala. So I just think that this is a weekend when you're at the table with your family and you're enjoying an Easter meal. You just give that one little prayer that says, oh, thank you that we're not in a alternate universe where Joe Biden is still our president. With that said, I want to play also a very ridiculous clip because I want to talk about the main report from the 47 report last night, which is the story about, or as the mainstream media likes to call it, the Maryland man, Killamar Abrego Garcia, which, man, do we find some details out about this guy. But here's a clip of CNN basically showing the spectrum of where Americans are today compared to 2013 with means or I guess favorability towards deportations for illegal aliens. There are two corrections I will make after this video plays, and I'm sure as you listen to it, you know what I'm going to correct. But Ryan's going to play that right now.
Deport all undocumented immigrants. Voters favoring the government trying to deport all 11 million of them. Back in 2016, just 38% of voters wanted the government to try to deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants. Compared to where we are in 2025, 56%, the majority. The American people have come a long way on this issue, much closer to Donald Trump. And I think that's a big part of the reason why Americans are increasingly saying the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy, and why Donald Trump's net approval rating on that issue is in the positive.
Oof. Hate that term, undocumented immigrants. I thought we were past that. But even more so that's egregious here is them with that number, 11 million. It's been 11 million for 11 years now. I think maybe they should take that 11 million and times it by 5. And maybe we're dealing with a closer, accurate number to the amount of illegal aliens that we actually have in this country. But this is CNN. They're not really known for factual, on-point reporting, so we can't be surprised on that aspect. But the reason I want to bring it up is because yesterday we did talk about how we would like to see Trump start to become a little more hawkish and not softening on his immigration rhetoric, especially when you see how hard the left and Democrats are fighting for illegal aliens, such as the case of Killamar Abrego Garcia. Now, just as a quick little 10-second synopsis here, he was arrested by ICE, he was deported. He was arrested and deported under the suspicion, and now confirmed, of the possibility of being an affiliate or associate of MS-13, and he is now in the El Salvador mega prison. So, Senator Van Hollen, a Democrat from Maryland, who is clearly using this situation to try and make a name for himself, because I didn't hear about him until this was all happening, decided that he, and most likely, used the taxpayer's dime to go travel to El Salvador, knowing that he probably wasn't going to make any progress. And he didn't. But we'll play the video of him doing his little selfie talk in the car on the way to the mega prison. Ryan, let's play the clip.
I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. I'm now en route into the city, looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. And I do want to thank our Foreign Service officers and the whole team at this embassy and embassies around the world for all the good work they do on behalf of our country. I'm proud to co-chair the bipartisan Foreign Service Caucus that stands up for the men and women who are serving our country overseas and at home in the State Department. After that, I hope to meet with some high-level government officials from El Salvador. As I've said before, the goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home, and we're going to keep working at this until we're successful. I also hope to have the chance to meet with him, but we'll have a better idea if that works out a little later on.
Senator Van Hollen here could probably be doing about 100 to 1,000 different things, and yet he is wasting his time, resource, money, all of it, going to El Salvador to try and meet with Bukele, who said beforehand, please do not bother. And lo and behold, he went to El Salvador anyway and was turned away. So again, what was the point? And with that said, we have learned a little bit more about this saint that the media has tried to paint as in regards to Mr. Garcia, which is that he is really not a saint. DHS shared a 2019 police report showing Garcia was found with known MS-13 members and selling drugs in a Home Depot parking lot during a murder investigation. Okay. There was more details that confirmed that he had increasing associations with MS-13 gang members. And additionally, his wife, who Jennifer Vasquez, I guess, has been vouching really hard to bring him back. I'm not sure why she would, because it was also revealed yesterday that in 2021, she filed for a protective order citing repeated physical assaults where Garcia, quote, punched, scratched, grabbed, and bruised her. This is the man that Democrats and mainstream media have been excessively fighting for in the last few weeks. And all I keep seeing is headlines about the wrongly deported man that's in an El Salvador prison. I don't know. By all these metrics here, it sounds like we kind of did the right thing, but we're going to bring him back to do what? Just send him out again? It's really, we got to just start, I don't know, stopping with the ping-ponging of these people. We bring them in, we take them out, we bring them in, take him out. You got Judge Boasberg trying to now hold Trump in contempt because, you know, he's not bringing the Venezuelan illegal aliens with associations to TDA back to the U.S. Just shows that their priorities are all wrong. And we'll even get to that later in the show in regards to why their priorities are completely all wrong. But there is something I would like to play here real quick. And this is just a little intro into our next topic because we did not get to talk about it yesterday. I wanted to wait for more details to come out. But Leticia James, we all have a message for you.
What goes around comes around.
That's true. What goes around comes around. So, unless you've been living under a rock, Leticia James is now facing... Oh, I just totally canceled out of the article I was reading from. I could just tell you about it anyways. Leticia James is basically facing fraud allegations related to real estate, which is the same bogusness that she went after Trump, basically starting around 2 years ago, trying to claim that Trump was very fraudulent in his business dealings and his acquisitions of buildings in New York City back when he was a real estate mogul that was pretty essential to building up the city. Well, Leticia James herself, and I'll read it to you guys, is now facing allegations of mortgage fraud, and she has been referred to the DOJ in this matter. The accusations claim James falsified records to secure favorable loan terms for properties in Virginia and New York. Specifically, she allegedly declared a Norfolk, Virginia home purchased in August 2023 as her primary residence despite serving as New York's Attorney General, which requires New York residency. This misrepresentation could have allowed her to obtain a lower mortgage rate. Additionally, James is accused of misrepresenting a Brooklyn property as having 4 units instead of 5 on mortgage applications since 2001, potentially qualifying her for better loan terms. Gee whiz. And before we even have to go more into it, the referral suggests that there should be possible charges for wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, and false statements and to a financial institution. And some of that is also concerning the fact that she listed her father in some of these filings as her husband. Well, Leticia James is a little scheme here has now seen the light of day. And again, I just read, right, August 2023. This was kind of around the time she started tossing, the fake book in a way at Trump. But here's a video of her. I guess this is her passionate response to these allegations coming to light. Ryan's going to play the clip.
My mission is clear. I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went to Howard University that overturned legal segregation in this country. I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught. I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you. We're standing up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
Oh, Ryan, what do we call this? Irony, karma, what comes around goes around. Maybe this is God's funny way of saying, man, you really did something in the wrong here. Now you got to face the light. I mean, the audacity of this woman to go after Trump the way she did over what she did, which, she was trying to frame it as real estate fraud. And yet here she is. And I didn't even get to mention it to you, Ryan. Daily Caller actually just released this morning. You guys could probably find it on X. They sent their reporters to these residential houses in Virginia to see if Leticia James was there, and it was other people. So, I don't know what's going on here, or what she thought she could get away with, but clearly she just got kind of caught red-handed.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to the hypocrisy of a lot of these people that they sit up on a high throne and, going after Trump and whoever else is a Republican. And meanwhile, they have so many skeletons in the closet. And I think they feel safe that they can go and do these things because they know that they're very protected by, the mainstream media, et cetera. But that shift is obviously changing, and it has changed recently with the rise of conservative news. So I think a lot of them need to look at her and be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing these righteous battles against the right because I'm losing those protections.
Of course. And, I'm hoping that this is almost like the first domino in a sense, because I know a big thing that everyone has been kind of venturing here is, okay, we're nearly 100 days in. There's a lot of corrupt politicians, plenty of corrupt Democrats out there that have weaponized their positions of power, weaponized the justice system. And, as the New York Attorney General, I think Leticia James has completely abused her authority to the highest extents, the highest degree. So maybe this is a slap to the face to say, okay, we could play that game too. Let's see what, skeletons you have in your closet. Let's see what you're hiding. And let's, put a spotlight on the hypocrisy. This woman was part of a group of 4, you could say: Alvin Bragg, Jack Smith, who's the crazy lady from Georgia that was trying to do the election fraud, who got caught. Everyone listening probably knows the name, but she got caught sleeping with her assistant. You know who I'm talking about. Maybe Ryan, if you want to Google it real quick.
Out of Georgia, right?
Yes. Yeah. Fannie Willis.
Willis. Yeah,
Fannie
Willis.
Not Fannie. Fannie Willis. Yeah, those 4 were almost single-handedly responsible for derailing Trump from even being able to participate in the election, and all for very obviously some very bogus reasons. So I think it's fantastic here that Leticia James clearly did not hide her fraudulent assets very well, and now with the spotlight on her, I think her reputation, which wasn't really held in a high regard in the first place, is down in the gutter. But here she is, screaming about how in 2026 we're going to answer with Hakeem Jeffries. Now, I wish I could just wave and say she's totally bogus on that front, but we would be lying in the sense that we have to keep our guard on. We can't let it slip. I mean, already what happened with that Wisconsin Supreme Court race did not go favorably as we would have liked it, and now it's going to leave some issue with redistricting a very purple state, which could make it just a little more hardcore blue. That's going to be a problem we will have to face. And I think another very evident and visually evident problem is the fact that, Trump is now 100 days in office, and more so than ever, at least from what I'm seeing out of the woodwork, you're getting a lot of leftists, but also just anti-Trump, also just I guess Americans who feel disenfranchised, who now want to coalesce and rally against Trump's presidency. Now, what I mean by that is that Bernie Sanders and AOC have been on this whole Stop the Oligarchy tour, and as much as they don't want to admit it, they've been getting a lot of people to these tours, whether it's even in Iowa or in California, which we're going to talk about. But AOC has kind of gone from having her little town halls in Brooklyn or Bronx where no one shows up. Now she's got these like giant rallies on an off season where there's no actual upcoming election other than some special elections. And it's a little concerning when you see the turnout here. So that's why we're going to kind of introduce a very special segment here. We have a TeamDML member. His name, first name, his name is Ryan. So same as my brother here, longtime TeamDML member. And he lives in California, and he went to the recent rally this week that AOC and Bernie Sanders held in Folsom County, which he acknowledges in one of the videos you'll hear, because it's a bunch of different clips that we kind of put together, and we couldn't fit everything, but I appreciate Ryan even going and just recording and getting some interviews, and he kept it neutral, which I think was perfect, because as much as the nice clicks and videos of confrontational interviews go, you don't really get the responses back, right? I mean, we've all seen them. So he went in almost like an incognito way to really just gather, okay, why are you here at this rally? And you'll see in the answers, I think a good majority is just, you don't like Trump. Trump's a threat to democracy, this and that. And then you get answers to, trying to, some of it's environmental, I'll say this, I'm not the biggest fan of the idea of like seizing some of our more natural federal land in these federal land grabs to then make Section 8 housing. Not that I think that's the route it'll end up going, but a lot of these issues that they bring up are misguided in a sense, but also very realistic in the way of that this is going to drive them to the voting booths, especially when it comes to 2026. And I know it's like, whoa, that's still ways away, but it's best to talk about it now because it will creep up. And I just don't want to see that Trump's second half of not a lame duck presidency, right? We always say lame duck when it's the second term. A CNN analyst last week said, no, not a lame duck. It's a soaring eagle. So I don't want to see the second half of what he's trying to get done here get crushed because, they take back, meaning the Democrats take back the House. And all we hear for 24 months is impeachment, 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 because Hakeem Jeffries will go that route. So with that said, we have the clips that Ryan presented to us or sent to us. And thank you, Ryan, for that. And thank you for going there. And just take a look at and listen to the crowd sizes, and you'll see just a few different interviews that he has. I think it's a really cool little segment that Ryan was able to kind of put together this morning. And we have more clips from it that maybe that we'll get to use for future shows. But just sit in, strap in, and just hear what the other side is saying.
So I just arrived at the Bernie Sanders event with AOC here in Folsom, California, right outside Sacramento. And I gotta say, the place is packed. If you look back here, I actually had to go and climb up a hill, and there are just miles of cars. I've never seen anything like this for an event that is not an election year and nobody's even declared running. And this line is still going. I've been walking for many blocks. I don't see how there's any way that I can get in. Someone said that what'd you say, sir? 10,000 was what they were expecting?
10,000 was what they predicted, and it's way more than that.
Oh yeah, it looks.
We walked by that many people getting this far.
I would say this looks even bigger than the Trump rallies I've been at.
Yes, it's huge. So, which way?
I don't know. If the line goes down the cul-de-sac and comes back out.
So I am still walking, and I have still not found the end of this line. It keeps going and going and going. It's 5 o'clock. The doors opened at 3:30. And a lot of the people that live here are stopping to ask what's going on. They did move the event from a fairground because it was going to be larger, so they needed a bigger venue apparently. That's what I'm hearing. Just to give you guys a kind of a overview of where we're at right now, we're in a suburb of Sacramento, California. And about 15 miles one way, you have the Capitol, where Gavin Newsom is, and 15 miles the other way, you have El Dorado County, which is one of the reddest counties in California. So Folsom is considered definitely one of the nicer, more upscale suburbs. And the counties here are, this is in Sacramento County. One thing about California is that the counties are very large. We only have 58 counties. So each county is, some of them are bigger than most states. All right, so you came from El Dorado Hills, which is what, down 50, like 15 miles or so?
Yeah, 15 miles about. It was like a 20-minute drive, or I guess 30 with the traffic, but wasn't that bad.
So who are you here to see, Bernie or AOC?
I mean, I really like both of them, but I mean, I have to go with Bernie. He just like matches my issues a lot better, and I just feel like he's just a really charismatic guy.
Is there, what issue is most important to you?
I mean, I'm pretty much here for all the issues, but to be honest, I think the environment's my most important issue. I just think there's really like the deregulation of the forest and just a lot of the trees getting logged down has really kind of been a big issue for me since I'm really into like hiking and like backpacking and all that. So I think I really like that Bernie is like helping support the environment.
Yeah, so recently I think they're gonna open up housing. They're going to sell federal land for housing. Have you been following that at all?
Yeah, a bit.
What do you think of that?
I mean, to be honest, I think it's great to drive down the housing prices, but I think that the main reason why the housing prices are so high is because people's profit margins, they're trying to make too much money off the houses, and I think that if it was more like public government housing, then it would be like a lot better for people. I think just having this stuff being privatized is kind of problematic because then people try to squeeze money out whenever they get any opportunity.
What do you think is, how much of a factor do you think the economy is, especially for younger people?
Like, what do you mean specifically?
Like, do you think you'll ever be able to afford a house?
I mean, hopefully. I'm trying to go to college for engineering, so that probably would help. But I definitely think it's becoming a lot harder for everyone to afford houses nowadays.
Well, I'm an engineer, and we got to deal with a lot of the foreign visas that are coming in. So
yeah.
that was my biggest issue. Bernie used to be really good on that. So I don't know how he feels anymore. But
yeah.
I'd like to be able to ask him, but we're not going to be able to get in. So
yeah, do you think we're getting in?
I don't think so.
It's insane, dude. Do you think we're just not going to make it? Like,
yeah, I don't think so. I've never seen a crowd this big. Never seen a crowd this big.
Yeah, I've never seen a crowd this big either, dude.
All right, well, thanks for
nice
sharing.
talking to you.
I'm from Rockland.
Okay, you're.
No, I'm just kind of covering the event, just getting the vibe for this election. So you're from Lincoln, which is not too far away, but it took like an hour to get here. So I just ask you this question. I'll ask you again, like, who are you here to see? Is it Bernie or AOC?
Both.
Who do you think draws a bigger crowd?
I think it's that combo. Like I said, the team they make, everybody remembers Bernie, and then what AOC brings in with all of her youthful, energy.
What do you think what's your biggest issue? Why do you like Bernie and AOC so much?
They're highlighting all the injustices and trying to stop someone that's so into power and just inhumane.
Do you think it has more to do with Trump, or is it more with just the system and people not being able to find jobs and the economy being as it is? Do you think we'd have this big a crowd if Trump weren't president?
No, I think this is now a reaction. People are waking up You know, why would you have voted for someone who has no moral character and can't show empathy, doesn't care about human beings?
All right, so you are from here.
Yes, I am.
Do you attend Folsom Lake?
I do not attend Folsom Lake, no.
No. Okay. So, and I just asked you this question, but could you just repeat it? So, who are you here to see more, Bernie or AOC?
I'm more here to see Bernie than AOC, but I'm here to see both, obviously.
So, if you could pick one to be president, who would you pick?
Ooh, good question. I'd be happy with either. I'd probably pick Bernie first, but either one would be better. Obviously better than what we have now, but either would be good.
Do you think, one thing I've heard in line is that Bernie is trying to pass the torch. Do you think he's trying to run for president and AOC is his running mate, or is he trying to pass the torch?
I think he's trying to ensure that anyone can run for president in the future. I think that's what this is all about. I think our democracy is fundamentally at risk under the current administration, and what he's speaking about here is not about him as president or even AOC as president. It's about anyone being able to become a duly elected president of the United States in the future.
Do you think, or what's your number one issue?
The end of democracy is coming. Donald Trump is actively targeting people. He's targeting political dissidents. He's deporting legal residents. He's violating our constitutional rights at the most fundamental levels. And just this Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, he's going to be given a recommendation as to whether or not to declare martial law to invoke the Alien and Seditions Act. So our democracy is fundamentally at risk right now, and that's what we're all here to listen to Bernie talk about.
So do you think that, how much of a role do you think the economy plays in all this?
I think it plays a massive role, obviously, but I think that's largely why Trump won, is people were insecure about the economic factors, whether or not Trump was actually a remedy to that. I don't think he was or ever would claim to be properly, but that's why he got elected. People were concerned about, their money, the economic well-being of the country. And so, yeah, absolutely. I think a large part of this crowd is because we're about to enter a recession due to one man, and that's Donald Trump. So I think absolutely the economy is a big factor here.
All right, sir, where are you from?
Auburn.
Auburn, which is about 15 miles from here or so?
It's more like 30 miles.
Oh, 30 miles, okay. So who are you here to see, Bernie or AOC?
Oh, both. Both. They're both just so great.
Do you think they complement each other, or do you think they're competing against one another?
No, they're complementing each other. Bernie's been doing this for, 60 years, however old he is. And he's older than that. And AOC has only been doing it a couple of years, but she's already a leader. Very, very important, prominent. It's the kind of leader we want to have.
And what is your most important issue?
Important issue is basically getting rid of Trump. That's the easy way to say it. Trump and his allies.
Do you think that this turnout would have been as big as it is without Trump in office?
That's a good question.
I have never seen so many people for an event. It's just, it is as far as the eye can see. I don't think I'm going to be able to get in. So I've been talking to a few more people off camera just to gauge why people are here. And I've had a couple people say that environment is their number one issue. I had one person say that healthcare. He says that drug prices have increased under Trump compared to Biden for things like insulin. A lot of people saying that there's no social justice, there's no due process. That's probably the biggest one so far, is lack of due process. And there does seem to be one common theme, and that is that Trump is driving this. nobody thinks that the crowd would be this big without Donald Trump in the White House. I always ask a follow-up question: how important do people think the economy is? And everybody has said that it's a big issue, but it always seems to be secondary, like the most important secondary issue.
Rye, there's a lot to unpack there from Ryan's video clips there. I mean, I know it's California, but he even kind of lays it out, right? A lot of those California counties are bigger than whole states. I mean, it's the biggest state in the country. And I don't like the fact that how nice would it be if you only saw like 100 people dwindling there, right? Or like if you saw the Kamala Harris rallies where no one was showing up. But, you know, Bernie Sanders, the crazy loon that he is still, you know, drawing these massive amounts of people, almost not in equivalency in numbers, but in just terms of energy, like he did 2016 when he was trying to, you know, go against Hillary. You know, clearly some of those answers too were saying they're more so there for Bernie than AOC, but it's very clear that he's almost trying to have AOC ride the coattails to really, you know, give her this maybe 2028, I could be the progressive candidate that everyone wants, which I really hope falls short. But you know, when you see a crowd size of that magnitude, and then you kind of hear, you know, those responses from people, I guess, what's your first initial thoughts?
One of my biggest initial thoughts is that a lot of those people are out there because of Trump winning. They're still very passionate in the sense that they're upset that he's in, you know, the Oval Office. So I think a lot of it is like them putting out their frustration. Because, you know, at the end of the day, in every response, it was, oh, because of Trump. They never really gave any clear answers to Ryan. So I think it was more of like a showing of like an FU to Trump, like a uniting on the Democrat side, which I think, you know, Dad has warned about. I think that is something that's seriously going to be an issue in this upcoming election and midterm, is that they're going to band together, because it's, you know, not about policy anymore. It's about getting him out of office or hampering his ability to execute through the midterms. But I mean, it's funny, a lot of like that old guy at the end, that older gentleman, like just his answers, it's just, you know, that is just, I hate Trump.
Yes, it very clearly, you put it very well, Ryan, based on Ryan's videos and from what he gathered. That rally, that group's existence in terms of the enormity is because Trump is in office. And it just goes to show that the anti-Trump mindset and behaviorism is what's going to drive people to, you know, those kind of people to the polls. So my fear is that if they're driven to the polls in masses, and then you kind of have Republicans, conservatives, or even just those that are more on the neutral scale, but then went over to vote in Trump's favor this election, if they become lax or they sit out or they're not motivated to get to those polls, I just get worried that, you know, we lose it, and we shouldn't. I mean, we have a slim majority as it is. How nice would it be if we can increase it and we actually prove the point that we can win, you know, in 2026, and then by, you know, that hope, launch for a 2028 win, whether it's JD Vance or whoever, you know, carries the torch next. So I think it's important to raise these issues now, especially because, you know, we wrote in the 47 report, we're going to hit some hot water soon with this little tariff strategy that Trump's got going on, especially with China. I mean, you know, China has basically cut us off from their exports with the rare earth minerals, so that impact is going to be felt pretty soon. I do just want, hopefully, everyone to know that once that impact hits, this is all designed for the long run of trying to better the country. So hopefully, you know, Trump is sticking to it, but it's a little worrisome that when you see a crowd that large, even in a place like California, it just shows that, you know, as much as we want to think that there are just a few loonies out there, there's, you know, whether it's old, you know, boomers, or whether it's still, you know, young, crazy on the left spectrum, Zoomers, you know, Gen Z. It's very clear that there is still opposition.
Yeah, I think it is a little worrisome, but I think a big key factor is Bernie Sanders has never been enticing to independents, and that's why he's never gone anywhere. And AOC is just, I don't think I think they were really there for Bernie rather than AOC.
It makes you think that if Bernie wasn't a part of this tour, that maybe the crowd size would be
it'd probably
substantially
be smaller. But I don't think they're attractive to independents.
Right.
So, I mean, that's one thing I'm positive on or hopeful on. But yeah, it is a big size. I mean, and you got to remember it's in the deep blue state of California, but still, a lot of people took out from their day to
to
do
go
that.
do it. You got a very good point. And getting bussed in from the different counties, so it's tough to watch, but it's important to watch. And I just want to give a big thank you for Ryan for sharing the videos and giving those interviews and allowing us to play it. So really big thanks. I'm sure it was probably not too easy too talking to some of these people if they had some repetitive answers. But speaking of lunacy, this is our last segment here, and I am not going to ignore this story because the ridiculousness just gets bigger by the day. But you all know it pretty well at this point. Carmelo Anthony, the 17-year-old black kid who killed 17-year-old white kid Austin Metcalf by stabbing him through the heart because Austin asked him to move out of a tent that was on a track field that Carmelo Anthony did not belong to. And all the spin that has been put to it with liberals, leftists, and just honestly low IQ individuals trying to claim that this was self-defense. I would just like to ask, why did Carmelo bring a knife to a school? Regardless, Carmelo was arrested. He was put behind a jail cell. His bail was at $1 million. And then a black female judge who claims she's Republican lowered the bail to $250,000, and he was allowed out, which, by the way, I didn't even get to mention it yesterday. He only had to pay 10% up front of that reduced bail. So what, $25,000? Okay.
And they bar an Escalade, right?
Huh?
They bar an Escalade.
Oh, I'm getting to that point now. So instead of being behind bar cells, Carmelo Anthony was put into a near $900,000 house that they are now renting from an Indian immigrant couple that doesn't even live in Frisco, Texas. Additionally, as Ryan just mentioned, in their driveway now is a brand new $150,000 Cadillac Escalade that is brand spanking new. I saw the pictures. We don't have it up. And in addition to that, he's been given Amazon packages, and people have been sending him more donations, and people have been sending him food so that he's not hungry. And I don't know if it's associated with him, but I'm sure by the next podcast episode, we'll have more details on it. T-shirts and merchandise are being sold with Carmelo's face on it, with the expression "Free Carmelo." Carmelo is innocent. Tomorrow's Good Friday and Sunday's Easter, so it's like you got to almost like hold yourself back. Just absolutely, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm sure you guys can fill in the blanks when you comment on today's episode. And with that said, I need to make a correction from yesterday, especially now that I have this man's name. Yesterday, I talked about a case that happened in Arizona where a white man with his wife at a bus stop was attacked with an axe or a hatchet by another black man. The white man's name is Jacob Couch, and I'm happy to actually report, as brutal as what I just mentioned was, that he did not actually die. He is alive. He's in the hospital fighting for his life. And Jacob Couch is a father. He was going to have actually another child, but when his wife gave birth a few months ago, unfortunately, or even less than a few months ago, it was more recently, it was a stillbirth, which is beyond tragic. I can't even imagine having to go through that. And then you're sitting on a bus stop with that grief, and some crazy black guy comes with a hatchet and chops for your neck. So Jacob Couch is fighting for his life. I want Ryan to just display this screenshot right here. Someone did finally create a donation page for him. Now, it's Give, Send, Go, and it pisses me off because the last thing I want to do is give money to that organization after what Jacob Wells, the founder, just did with Carmelo Anthony by allowing the donations that he was getting to be up there, despite everything we've laid out with that case. However, I can't find other donation sites that are related to Jacob Couch. They right now have thankfully raised $35,000, which is not even close to, it's a minutia compared to what Carmelo Anthony has been able to raise, which is just so pathetically sad. So I just want to present this screenshot because I think I know I will after the show, for my little piggy bank of what I actually have. I'm going to try and donate to this page. But if you think you're able to and can, I'm sure their family could totally use the donation with what they just went through. So I just wanted to present that case story and at least update that he did not die. He is just literally fighting for his life in a hospital right now. And something tells me that the guy who tried killing him with a hatchet, maybe he's going to get let off with a low bail, slap on the wrist, and who knows, maybe he could go buy a Mercedes-Benz and move into a new condo. Just absolutely, I don't know what we're doing here, guys. It's just ridiculous, backwards world we live in, which is why tomorrow, with it being Good Friday and Easter Sunday, it's a good weekend to really reflect, to give prayer to people like Jacob Couch, to Austin Metcalf's family, and just to all the to all the really horrible stories out there that don't get reported on. So I just want to also maybe end the show with one more good note. Today's TeamDML blessing, I know I gave it to Brendan and Ashley yesterday, but I would like to actually give today's TeamDML blessing to Kelly, our littlest sister. She and her team, her lacrosse team, won their, what is it, Ryan, district championship game?
Yeah, they won the district.
They won the district, so they're champions. It was funny. Kelly thought they were going to either lose or that it would be a tight game, and they actually beat the other team, I think 11-3.
Yeah, 11-3. And I think now they go to regionals.
They go to
then
regionals,
it's
yeah.
States.
Yes, that's the order. But district wise,
yeah, they won.
They won. They were the champions, and it was great. They got the trophy. Kelly was super ecstatic. Miss Mary was she was there on her walker, but she was there. DML was there. We were all there supporting her. It was fantastic to watch their team win, and Kelly played a great game. She did awesome. She hustled. So I want to give today's TeamDML blessing to Kelly. But with that said, I hope you all have a fantastic Easter. And I want to just maybe actually legitimately end the show with a prayer passage that I think you guys will all appreciate. O risen Lord Jesus, you are the resurrection and the life. In your victory over death, you've opened the gates of eternal life. Strengthen my faith that I may believe in you with all my heart and live in the hope of the resurrection. Grant that I, who have been baptized into your death and resurrection, may rise with you in glory. Through your mercy, may those who have died in your love share in the eternal life you promise. Glory to be to you, O Christ, who live and reign forever. Amen. See you guys next week.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and TeamDML.